All right, well, I'm going to get started for everyone that's here. So hopefully everyone's ready. Let's go. All right, so title of this webinar is the 6 steps to getting your health and your life back. So we're going to kind of lay the foundation first, and then we're going to go into 6 really specific steps that you can take. And first thing that I want you to do is to locate the chat if you haven't done so already. So that way we can chat a little bit and I don't feel like I'm talking to myself. So I want to be able to help as much as I can in our time together. So that's why I'm going to ask you to use that chat with me. And throughout our time together, I'm hoping that I can give you some clarity around whatever brought you here today. So I'm not going to be able to solve all of your health problems with this one webinar, but I do hope to help you have clarity around why everything you've been doing hasn't worked. And instead, I'm going to walk you through the 6 steps of what will work. So I'm going to show you what has worked for me, what has worked for my clients, and what can work for you as well. So if that sounds good, if you're ready to get started, I want you to find that chat and type yes, ready, you're with me, like whatever you want to say, just so that I know that y'all are tracking with me and you found the chat box. All right, we've got some yeses. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. So much better than just like talking to myself. All right, so let's start by looking at some of the most common symptoms that I see in my practice today. And I want you to see if any of these ring true for you. So you're going to know like, okay, I'm in the right place, right? I'm with my people. So we've got weight gain, insomnia, fatigue, lack of motivation, mood swings, anxiety, constant hunger and cravings, stomach pain, gas and bloating, brain fog, PMS, achy and swollen joints, hair loss, diarrhea, and constipation. Now, this doesn't mean that everyone has all of these, right? But this is just kind of the most common symptoms that I see in women that come to work with me at KB Wellness, whether it's in a group program or one-on-one. So like I said, these are really, really common with women that I work with. And I want to know, do any of these sound familiar to you? Maybe even a lot of them sound familiar to you. Type yes in the chat if you're dealing with some of these. So let's show each other we are not alone. Okay, we got a yes, 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 yes. All right, great. So I love that. I love being able to just kind of show like you're not alone, because sometimes it can feel like you are. You start to feel a little crazy, like, am I the only one that feels this way? So you are not alone, as you can see, and I'm really glad that you guys are here today. All right, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this because you probably know who I am, and that's why you're here. But before you listen to me for the next 40 odd minutes, you deserve to know a little bit more about who I am, what is my background, and what are my credentials as well. So this is me and my family. This picture was taken last year. We need to have new ones. And here you can see that I'm the mom of 3 boys, and everyone's very tall. My husband was in the NBA for 13 years, and everyone in this picture, except for me, plays basketball. And as healthy as we all are now, it was not always this way. I've been through so much with my health. So whatever your symptoms are that you're struggling with, I have probably had them too, whether it's weight gain or anxiety or insomnia, I've been there. And wherever you are in your health journey, whether you're just starting out or you're years deep, I've been there as well. Aw, thank you. Kimberly said beautiful family. That's sweet. This is me back in the day when I used to suffer from migraines, fatigue, weight fluctuations, anxiety, and more. And I went to countless doctors, but nobody could figure out what was wrong with me. They always just acted like it was my version of normal, like, well, this is just you and who you are, and that it was fine to feel that way. But it did not feel fine. And after all of my doctors basically gave up, I tried to fix things myself. Although back then I had no idea what I was doing. So I tried cleanses and diets and supplements and trends and everything in the book. And nothing really worked, which left me feeling really hopeless and kind of resigned to that fate. So when I tell you that I know how you feel and I've been there and I've done that, I truly mean it. But when my babies started showing some of the same symptoms that I was not willing to accept that. I had accepted kind of my own fate, but I was not willing to accept it once I started seeing my children exhibit signs of chronic illness. Something inside of my mama heart just screamed no, and I started digging in and doing research. So you might have heard the saying that a worried mother does better research than the FBI. And for me, that was true. I went to work. This is when I stumbled upon the world of functional medicine and integrative healthcare. And that's what we're going to be talking more about today. This is where you look to find the root cause of symptoms instead of what I call the whack-a-mole approach that we will take a look at in a moment. And we've got a couple other moms that had the same as me, 3 babies in 4 years, 4 kids in 5 years. It really takes a toll on your body, and it can be hard to recover from. 4 kids in 6 years. Yeah, a lot of you guys are with me on that one. All right. So what we don't want is that whack-a-mole approach, right? So an example of that is when one of my sons had some really, really bad eczema. It was so bad that he scratched constantly. He was bleeding constantly, crying constantly. I mean, they literally were like, just put socks on him and duct tape it to his hands because he was a baby. He was like 14 months old. So you can't tell like reason with them, right? They gave us steroid creams, special baths, but nothing really solved the issue. The cream barely worked. And anytime we stopped, the eczema came back worse. So you might have experienced something like this with other things where you can kind of band-aid it, but then it comes back again. So fast forward to when I learned about root cause solutions. And what we realized was that his gut health was contributing to his eczema. I see gut health as a root cause for so much in my practice, and this was no exception to that. So we started working on healing his gut at a root cause level, and eventually his eczema went away. No more steroid cream needed to this day, which we're over a decade later. At this point, he's now 15. It was a huge blessing that around the same time, my husband was playing for the LA Lakers, and they just hired a famous nutritionist and a doctor to work with the players. Dr. Kate helped us make big nutrition changes in our home, and I noticed really quickly all of the health changes in myself, my husband, and my family, just by starting to take a hold of our nutrition and swap it over into a newer way of eating for us. Now, nutritional changes alone didn't fix everything, but we started to feel a lot better. Now, with this newfound passion for functional medicine and my new boost in energy, I dug deeper and I soon discovered that there was so much out of balance in my body. And once I found the root causes for everything I'd been experiencing, I got to work fixing it at a root cause level. And over time, I began to rely on fewer and fewer Band-Aids. The next thing I did was I went on to study at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, where I received my health coach certification. And eventually I fully regained my health. And once I was better and it was obvious how much better I was, everyone started asking me my secrets and asking for help. And that's when I realized that I had to do this professionally so that I could help others go from feeling the way I used to feel to the way I feel now. So next I went on to receive certification in the AutoImmune Paleo protocol. And then I went on to finish a Master's of Science in Clinical Nutrition and Human Performance, where I took courses on epigenetics, biochemical markers, weight loss, the microbiome, which was my favorite course, and much more. I also became a registered healer with the International Natural Healers Association and with the American Holistic Health Association. And all of that led me to where I am today, to my mission. I want you to have the life that you want, the life you deserve, with no symptoms holding you back. I want you to be able to get up in the morning and do what lights you up inside, whether that's running a marathon or running your own business or raising your kids, caretaking for your family, whatever it is that you want to be able to do. I want you to be able to achieve all of it without all the obstacles of these symptoms weighing you down and slowing you down. So can you let me know in the comments if this is something that you want for yourself? Do you feel like you're kind of being held back from like your full potential in life, whether that's your kids, your family, your job, anything, fulfilling your life's dreams? Okay, so we've got some yeses. Lots of yeses. Okay. So if you've tried trends, fads, diets, supplements, doctors, and more, and you're still struggling, I want you to have hope. You just probably haven't found that root cause yet to be able to work on it on a deeper level. And you don't just need to suck it up. And I want you to hear me on this. You don't need to just suck it up, power through either. You deserve to feel better. And it's time to stop wasting time and money playing whack-a-mole with your symptoms and get to the bottom of things once and for all. A lot of women come to work with me and they feel like they should just kind of have to power through. They're told that it's normal to have these symptoms, and I want you to know that it is not, and you don't have to feel that way. Okay, so let's talk about what you need to know to get better. I want you to picture your body like a tree with roots. If the leaves are brown or dead or falling off, that means that the tree is not doing well. The brown leaves are a symptom of a problem. If you were in charge of the health of that tree, would you spray paint the leaves green? Probably not. But when we don't go deep to the root cause, when we are dealing with a symptom, we're essentially spray painting the leaves green, and that is not fixing anything. Putting steroid cream on eczema, like with my son, is just painting the leaves green, but there's still a problem hiding underneath. And in the short term, that's totally okay to mitigate your symptoms temporarily with Band-Aids so you're not suffering. I am not saying you need to suffer, but the ultimate goal should be to deal with the issues on a root cause level so you don't need those Band-Aids anymore. In the case of the tree, we want to look at getting it healthy water and soil and sunlight and pest control. And just like the tree has several different areas to investigate, so do our bodies. And this is what functional medicine and root cause healing is all about. And we're going to, so far, if this is making sense, type yes or no into the chat. Some of you might be really familiar with this concept, but a few others of you, this may feel like a newer thought process. So feel free to share where you're at. We'll start looking at some examples to help make it more sense. Make more sense. Okay, y'all are tracking. Perfect. So let's take a look at a practical example here. And let's say you have resistant weight loss, which is really common when there's a deeper root cause issue going on. You're trying all like the diet things, it's not working because there's something else underneath. So you're probably told it's just about how many calories you're eating, and you were told to eat less and move more, and you probably tried it and it didn't work. And that's because there's something deeper going on. So if you're comfortable sharing in the chat, if you've had weight loss resistance and it has not worked so far, type yes. Okay. And the reason why eating less doesn't always work is because your resistant weight loss could be due to an imbalanced microbiome from antibiotics you took years ago. Studies show an imbalance of Bacteroidetes to Firmicutes results in an increased extraction of calories from food, which is just wild. Or it could be due to elevated cortisol levels from high stress you may be experiencing, because cortisol causes the body to hold on to stubborn belly fat. Or it could be due to endocrine disrupting chemicals from products you're unintentionally poisoning your cells with on a daily basis, which is causing hormone imbalance, which results in stubborn weight loss as well. And that's why taking a root cause approach is so much more effective than just telling people eat less, move more, because that doesn't even work most of the time. This brings me to the next point that is important to understand, and that is that the entire body is connected and related. So don't forget that that is a key factor in all of this. And that's why a lot of things that people have tried in the past didn't work, because they might be trying to target one part of the body and not the other. And there's feedback loops, and it's all integrated and related. And so you have to target it from multiple angles. So again, I want you to walk away from this feeling hopeful, instead of feeling like I've tried everything, nothing works for my gut issues, my brain fog, my fatigue, my weight. It's probably because you haven't tried the right multifaceted approach yet and found that root cause. And so I want you to feel really hopeful about that, and know it's not that you're broken, you just haven't done it in the right way yet. So a great example of this interconnectedness of the body is a client of mine. We're going to call her TB. And let's take a look at her before and after hormone tests so you can see this on a practical level. So TB came to me with complaints of PMS, acne, insomnia, weight gain, anxiety, and GI pain. She had a Dutch hormone test in hand when she came to me from another practitioner that she had been working with for over a year. And unfortunately, even after a year of work, her hormones were still a mess. There was no change in her before and after Dutch with this other practitioner. And her symptoms were the same, and she wasn't getting any better. Now, this practitioner didn't necessarily do anything bad. They just weren't really connecting all of the different areas of the body and getting to that foundational root cause level that I keep talking about today. It was more of that whack-a-mole approach, which usually doesn't get you the results you want. You kind of deal with one symptom, but then another one pops up. You deal with that one, and then another one pops up, which might be sounding familiar for some of you guys. In the before test, you'll see that her estrogen was way too high, which was causing estrogen dominance issues like PMS, heavy periods, anxiety, weight gain, bloating, and more. You'll see her testosterone was way too high too. And off to the right, you can see that her testosterone was going down a pathway called the alpha pathway, which leads to oily skin, acne, irritability, insomnia, thinning hair, and even contributes to that excess estrogen that we see too through aromatization. So her hormones were a mess. For 3 months, we worked on the principles that I've been talking about today, and I'm about to go deeper into with a 6-step approach. And so we really worked hard on those foundations for health at that root cause level using this 6-step plan. At no point did we do any direct hormone manipulation, like hormone replacement therapy or anything like that. We just worked on the foundations for health, including her gut health, and her hormones completely regulated on their own, which that is a really key fact. Because everything in the body is connected, and when you have that healthy foundation, the body will rebalance itself and return to homeostasis. I mentioned before that her before and after with her other practitioner was unchanged. So what you're looking at on this chart here is her before working with me and then her after working with me on those foundations for health using these 6 steps. So you'll notice that all of her arrows in that after are lined up. And not only are they right in the middle of those stars where we want them, they are perfectly aligned and balanced with each other as well. So, and that's what we want with our hormones. We want them to be balanced. Can someone tell me if I am glitchy at all? I just got a little notification saying your internet is unstable, but it's fine on my end. So have you guys seen, is my internet good or not good? Somebody tell me in the chat. It's a little glitchy. Okay. Let's see what I can do about that. All right. We are in a construction zone and our builders tend to clip the wires a lot that go to the houses. I was talking to the internet guy the other day and he's like, yeah, I keep fixing it, but then it keeps getting messed up again. That's great. All right. So back to hormone balancing. So when I talk about how things that you might have tried didn't work, because you weren't working on the root cause foundational level, that example of TB is kind of what I'm talking about. So she had tried for years to rebalance her hormones by doing like hormone things, kind of playing whack-a-mole, but she hadn't worked on her blood sugar balance or her gut health or her nutrient density because she didn't know that those were part of homeostasis in her body and rebalancing hormones naturally. And she didn't do any of the other steps that we're about to launch into on our 6-step plan. But once she did, everything started clicking. So one of the reasons why what you've tried in the past hasn't worked and why an approach like this would work is because 1, you need to focus on a foundational level to work on the root causes for health instead of just symptom management or whack-a-mole, as I call it. And then 2, you need to work on all the interrelated areas of the body to rebalance the body together instead of focusing on one area alone. So for example, when we're going back and we are talking about this alpha pathway right here, you see how this little arrow is red, and then we've got a fan down here. We want it to be in the middle, but hers was cranked all the way over to the right when she started working with me. This can be very easily fixed by rebalancing your blood sugar. She was not overweight. She did not have diabetes. She did not even have pre-diabetes, but her blood sugar did this all day because she ate nothing for breakfast and then her kids leftover gummy bears for lunch and then nothing in between and then pasta for dinner. And what we did was improve her nutrient density, get her eating real whole, solid, actual foods, walking away from the gummy bears, eating more protein and balancing her blood sugar all day. That's going to help rebalance this alpha pathway, which then helps with the the aromatization of estrogen, which then helps with normalizing testosterone. So just by fixing her blood sugar balance, we were able to fix 3 things wrong on that Dutch test. Her gut health also played a role via inflammation. I could talk about this all day, but that's just a snippet of how when you go deeper, it can help rebalance naturally. Okay, so now that we're all on the same page, hopefully on root cause and interconnectedness of the body, it's time to dive into the 6-step plan of getting your health back, of course, using these root cause principles and foundations for health. And some needs to be muted. There we go. Good. Funny how I like mute all and even mute new ones, but it doesn't always work. Okay. So I know I'm giving you a lot of information today, but I personally hate those master classes where you show up ready to learn and they really give you like nothing helpful to go on. So get even more action-packed and potentially a tad overwhelming too. So I want you to know a few important things. First of all, everything I'm about to teach you are things I've worked countless women through, literally thousands, both inside of my one-on-one coaching, inside of my group program, the KB Code, inside my membership, the KB Club. So while it may sound insurmountable at first, it's really not. Once you break it down and go step by step, I promise you can do it. Second, if this is resonating with you and you want my help with it, at the end of this class, I'm going to tell you about my 12-week program, the KB Code, that does literally this. It walks you through all of these and I help you every step of the way. No matter what, though, I want you to leave today's class knowing that wherever you're at, there is hope. You can kick your fatigue, bloat, anxiety, and weight to the curb using a 6-step plan like this and getting to the root cause of your issues. I have walked so many women through this to date, so I know that it works. All right, I'm going to turn off my camera now as well, because sometimes that helps with glitchiness. And we are going to keep going. All right, so step 1. This one seems like it's not important, but I promise it is. The first thing that you need to do is to tune into your symptoms. This is your body talking to you, and you can learn so much from it. It can help guide you to finding the root cause of your problems, can help guide you through the healing process. So, for example, that bloating could be small intestinal bacterial overgrowth or low stomach acid impairing digestion. The fatigue could be due to poor quality sleep or iron deficiency anemia. Anxiety could be nutrient deficiencies in B6, vitamin D and zinc, or low commensal bacteria in your intestines, which leads to low neurotransmitter production. So as you can see, all of these different symptoms could be your body talking to you, and we need to listen to them and learn how to understand what they're saying. So let's take a look at another example of this with a case study, and then we'll talk more about how to tune into our symptoms as well. So this is MJ. She was so tired after having 4 kids in 5 years, which I know resonates with a lot of us, including twins. She had twins in there, that she could barely walk up a flight of stairs without pausing to catch her breath. Every day was a struggle. She had previously always been thin and fit, but lately she could not lose the excess weight no matter what. She was also struggling with acne, bloating, and mood swings on top of her fatigue. She had almost accepted her fate that this was just her life now, after her doctor told her there was nothing wrong with her and it was normal to be tired and overweight because she was a busy mom. The first thing I did when she came to work with me was listen to her symptoms. And this is why paying attention to your symptoms should be your first step. This guided me to the simple labs that we ran. And lo and behold, my initial suspicions were correct. Her body was very depleted after those pregnancies, and she had various signs of anemia presenting on her labs as well. Here are the before and after comparisons of her labs. So you can see her hemoglobin, MCV, MCH, MCHC, RDW, and hematocrit were completely out of range when we first tested them. They were all in the red. This was causing her fatigue, not being a mom. But the doctor didn't know that because he refused to run the test because he said, well, you're just tired because you're a mom. Now, you'll see after our very first retest, which was just a few months later, her levels had drastically improved and reached the normal range, and they held steady when we retested months later. You'll see that I retested after as well to make sure that we didn't get an initial bump and then it goes back down again. We wanted to make sure that we had actually fixed the problem and that it was holding steady. Here are the before and after comparisons of her labs again, and you can see all the way across how much better they looked. Her ferritin really takes the cake. 9 is incredibly low. When I saw how bad this had gotten, I could not believe that she had been dismissed and had been dealing with this for so long because she was told she was just tired because she was a mom. In truth, she was tired because she was anemic. But look at how well her ferritin and all the other markers improved in just a few months. So hopefully this example helps you see on a more practical level how important it is to listen to your symptoms and do not let them be brushed aside. The root cause of her fatigue and bloating had several factors. So picture that tree again while we discuss her root cause. Her body was completely depleted of nutrients after multiple pregnancies back to back without a concerted effort to replete nutrient levels. Her blood sugar was a mess from eating random leftover food on the go while chasing her kids around. She had loads of inflammation from eating the wrong food for her body's needs, and her sleep was a complete disaster too. So after we began systematically rebuilding her body step by step using the 6 steps I'm teaching you today. She slowly started to feel like herself again. She is now back to working out, has lost excess weight, sleeps better, eats better, has better skin, and is feeling better than she has in a long time. Am I less glitchy without my camera on? I'm hoping the answer is yes. Yay. Okay. I want to share this because I think it's easy to be convinced that your fatigue or bloating or anxiety are normal, but it does not have to be that way. You just haven't gotten to that root cause yet. And that first step, again, is to listen to those symptoms. Remember the symptoms I mentioned at the beginning of the webinar. I've listed them out here again at the right. Take a look and think about them for a moment. Remember that this is a sign something is off and out of balance in the body. These aren't just problems. These are a symptom of a deeper problem, a problem that can be fixed by addressing these 6 main areas of your health that we're going to cover today. So step 1 is listening to your symptoms and tuning in. The next step is rebalancing your blood sugar. Now, this is important for everyone. Balancing your blood sugar is not just important for diabetics. It is key for good health. Not only do wild blood sugar fluctuations result in constant crashes and constant fatigue, but they also disrupt your endocrine system, which can lead to hormonal imbalances and contribute to problems like PCOS and PMS, like we saw in the client TB. Balancing your blood sugar really comes down to 2 main things: the amount of time between meals and how you're building your plate with macros. You need the correct amount of macros, which are fat, protein, and carbs, at each meal to keep your blood sugar stable. And although most people think they are doing this pretty well, they are often surprised by how far off they are once we start coaching them on it. And I'm serious. Out of hundreds and hundreds of women that we've worked on blood sugar balance with, there's probably been 2 that have nailed it out of the gate. Moving on to step 3, what do we eat? We just talked about the macros and how that needs to be balanced, but what is that going to be made up of? So let's say your macro goal is to eat 40 grams of carbs at each meal. Which one of these do you think is going to help you reach your health goals? They both, by the way, have 40 grams of carbs in them. 1 cup of gummy bears or 1 cup of black beans. They might have the same amount of carbs, but they're going to behave very differently inside of your body. Food is instructions for your body. So it's not just about removing quote unquote bad foods either. You also need to make sure you're increasing your nutrient density as much as possible. For example, while beef can help improve your iron status, grass-fed beef has more anti-inflammatory omega-3s and less inflammatory omega-6s than grain-fed beef. So I know there's a lot to pay attention to here, right? We've got how much to eat, when to eat, what to eat, how to combine the macros, what are we taking out, what are we putting back in, what is the nutrient density status of it? I know that it can feel overwhelming. Now, I like to use the template of a Mediterranean diet due to the extensive clinical research showing its potential to reduce the risk of various diseases. But I personally like to blend that with an anti-inflammatory diet because inflammation has been found to be the root cause of many symptoms and diseases. I also utilize many principles of the paleo diet, which I found incredibly helpful for clients over years and years of clinical practice. I know this sounds really complicated at first, but in my work with clients, we always break this down into bite-sized manageable steps with robust support. We make small changes over time, and before you know it, you are a nutrition expert on what feels best for you and your body, and you know what to eat and when to eat, and you start feeling fantastic. So moving on again, once you've tuned into those symptoms and you're following through these steps and you have your blood sugar balanced and your energy is returning and you layer on a diet that is designed to help you heal your body, next up is gut health. Gut health is huge when it comes to overall health. Hippocrates said all disease begins in the gut, and I truly believe that he was right. Here's a few reasons why your gut health is so important to your health. One, your gut is where you absorb or don't absorb your nutrition. You can eat all the healthy food you want, but if it just passes through you like a tube and you're not absorbing it, it's not doing you any good. Two, it is where most of your serotonin, the happy neurotransmitter, is made. If you want to feel like you have the energy and the joy in your life to do what you want to do, we need serotonin for that. Three, it's where much of your immune system lies. And we do not want our immune system to either be dormant and allow too many infections or to be in hyperdrive and contribute to autoimmune disease. We want it to be nice and healthy and happy and balanced. And four, it is the barrier or lack thereof between you and the outside world that travels in on your food. There is literally one cell layer thick between you, your immune system, your body, and whatever is passing through, whether that's a food that your body doesn't like or a parasite or a bacteria, just one layer of thickness. And if there is a breakdown in that barrier, then we have a problem. So studies show that 100% of people with autoimmune disease have leaky gut. That does not mean that 100% of people with leaky gut go on to develop autoimmune disease, because there are several other triggers that need to be in place for that to happen. But it does mean that one of the starting points for the development of autoimmune disease for each of these patients was a leaky gut. A 2021 article in the Journal of Nature states that the prevalence of autoimmunity has increased over the last 25 years. And the most terrifying part of this article for me as a mom was that the prevalence of autoimmune antibodies in teenagers has nearly tripled over the period assessed by the study. So this tells me that we have to take back our health, not just for ourselves, but for our entire families, and we need to do it now. Okay, so how do you start healing your gut? Each of these steps obviously has a lot to them, but like I said, I want today's class to be as jam-packed with as much info as possible, so we're going to dive in a little bit. To heal your gut, you're going to want to remove inflammatory foods, because if your gut lining is inflamed, it can't heal. You also want to feed your gut your good gut bacteria compounds found in healthy foods like polyphenols and fiber so that they can grow. It's literally food for them. And you want to stop feeding the bad gut bacteria sugar and processed foods so they can die, because that's food for them. It is also best to reduce NSAID consumption if possible, because NSAIDs have been proven to damage the gut lining. You'll also want to reduce alcohol consumption and stop overdoing the HIIT, high intensity interval training, and cardio for the period of time where you're trying to actively heal your gut. That doesn't mean you can't work out, but there's a difference between working out and just absolutely killing yourself in the gym, which is preventing that healing of that gut lining. I work with a professional athlete, multiple actually, but one we're working on gut healing, and it's really challenging because of the level of activity that he has to put in. Okay, so next up is sleep. Now, of course, we all know sleep is important, especially if one of your big symptoms is fatigue, but you might not know just how very important it is. For example, did you know that less sleep is correlated to a shorter lifespan, higher rates of Alzheimer's, anxiety, depression, heart disease, obesity, diabetes, and impaired immune function and cognition? That's wild, right? That is a lot of things. Now, sleep is not just a time for us to get untired. This is when our body actually heals and repairs itself and regenerates, and it is crucial for our health. Something else that's important to know is that it's not just about improving sleep quantity, meaning the amount of hours that you sleep, but the quality of your sleep and your sleep cycles matter as well. There are 4 phases to sleep: awake, REM, light, and deep sleep, and they all serve a different purpose. Awake is when you lie down, you're about to drift off to sleep. REM is important for learning and retaining new information. This is also the phase where we dream and process our emotions. Light sleep, you're bordering on sleep and wakefulness. And then deep sleep is the most restorative sleep and allows for memory retention, allows for the brain to clean out debris. This is called the glymphatic system. Not lymphatic, but glymphatic is in the brain, and that drains into the lymphatic. Our body also secretes more testosterone and human growth hormone during this specific phase, this deep sleep phase. So if you aren't getting the right balance of each of these sleep phases, that can contribute greatly to fatigue as well as cognition and hormone imbalance. So we definitely need to focus on sleep quality and quantity. Which I know is something often easier said than done, but it can be done with the right amount of education and a plan. So here's a few habits to start with for a good night's sleep. Number 1, stop looking at blue light before bed. This stops your melatonin production from your pineal gland. Step 2 is to keep your bedtimes and your wake times consistent to help your body set its circadian rhythm. Step 3, make your bedroom a sleep sanctuary. You want it cold and dark and quiet. Step 6 in this health plan is to address toxins. Toxins are often overlooked, yet they play a really important part in overall health. Think of toxins like the gunk that gets stuck in the lock of your cell. So when the key, which is your hormones, comes along, it can't fit. So this can disrupt your thyroid function, your sex hormones, your liver health, and more. So this page that we see over here with this image is taken from the NIH, the National Institute for Health. And it's discussing endocrine disruptors in our everyday products like plastic water bottles, metal can liners, food, toys, and more, and the impact that these endocrine disruptors have on your body, which is a massive, massive impact. And toxins are in more places than you think. For example, did you know that there are over 80,000 chemicals in use, yet only 1,400 have been banned from beauty products in the European Union? And 600 have been banned in Canada. And guess how many have been banned in the US? This is a not so fun fact. 30. They've only banned 30. So this means there's a lot of opportunity for toxins in your shampoo, your body lotion, and more. These are absorbed into your skin with your daily use. But it's not just your beauty products, it's your home cleaning products, your food, your clothing, and more. And if that wasn't enough, you also have to be careful of something called greenwashing. This makes me super angry. Greenwashing is when companies try to fool consumers into thinking their products are healthy and safe when they're not. The toxins piece can feel overwhelming, but like with everything else I teach, you just have to take baby steps and go through one thing at a time and take your time. Okay, so I know this was a lot. This is, again, high-level overview today. But there you have it, the 6 steps to take back your health. These are the 6 steps I used personally to reclaim my health. These are the 6 steps I use with my private clients as well. And I've seen hundreds, if not thousands of women transform their lives using this approach between my private clients and my membership and my program, the KB Code. Now, this approach is different because it focuses on getting to the root cause of the symptoms. It recognizes that systems of the body are connected, and it takes into account all of the major foundations for health: sleep, toxins, blood sugar balance, diet, and gut health. With this approach, you're getting root cause healing instead of playing whack-a-mole with your symptoms and spray painting those leaves green, only to have new symptoms pop up a year later. And like I said in the beginning, I know this is a lot of information, and there's a reason why I take several months to walk people through how to do this inside of my programs. It is definitely a lot, but I really hope that you walk away from this class feeling like you have a solid understanding of how you can create health in your body. And more than anything, I want you to feel hopeful that you can feel better, even if you've been feeling stuck or overwhelmed or feeling like nothing else has worked in the past. You just need the right steps and in the right order and the right guidance so that you can stop the trial and error, stop wasting time, stop wasting money, stop Googling, and get down to that root cause health and have true lasting health. So I want to pause for a quick second to say congratulations. You showed up today. You watched this whole masterclass. You took a step towards getting unstuck and improving your health. And it's really easy to just brush off our symptoms, brush them aside, ignore them. So I'm really proud of you for like showing up today. And I hope you're really proud of yourself for taking the first step and showing up. So I would like to know in the chat, was this helpful? Do you guys feel hope that you can feel better? And you're not crazy and you're not alone. You just need to dig a little bit deeper. You need to find that root cause. You need to address all of the different angles. You're not broken. You can get better. It just hasn't been done right so far. Thank you for answering. Okay. Good. Okay. So as you can tell throughout this webinar, I really believe in this approach to getting your energy, health, and life back by working on root cause foundations. And because I believe in it so much, I created an entire patented program around it called the KB Code. The doors only open about once a year. And I'd like to really quickly share how I can support you using this. And then we're going to jump into that Q&A so that if this is something that you're like, okay, I want to do this, but I need help, this is how I can help you. And then let's keep going and I'll see what other questions you guys have. So the KB Code is a 12-week group coaching program where I walk you through step by step everything that we covered today and more, because obviously we can cover a lot more ground in 12 weeks with 1-hour calls every single week and modules on top of that. We can cover a lot more ground in that than we can in 1 hour. So it feels a lot less like drinking through a fire hose. I designed the program in a way that you literally can't fail if you just show up and do a little bit of work week by week. I break it down. So as overwhelming as it might feel to hear all these steps at once today, I promise it does not feel overwhelming when we break it down into 12 bite-sized pieces and provide robust support through the entire process. I'm literally there to help you every step of the way. This course combines everything I've learned in decades of research and experience and clinical practice and put all together into one comprehensive start to finish course. So you don't have to go through what I went through with the trial and error and wasting time and money and more. There are 12 modules, like I said, one for each of the 12 weeks that we're working together inside of the program. These modules walk you through, again, everything in those 6 steps that we covered tonight and more. We talk about symptoms, root cause, goals, blood sugar balance, exactly what to eat that's anti-inflammatory and healing. We level up your food to increase that nutrient density. We figure out where can you save money when it comes to buying organic or not. We talk about batch cooking and time saving, intermittent fasting. Is it right for you or not? How do you know and how do you do it? Improving your gut health, sleep hygiene and hacks to really improve that sleep, eliminating toxins and finding it in all of its hiding spots. And then module 12, we wrap it all together and we redo that symptom survey. We see where did you land, what has improved, what is left to be done. And I give you some really tangible next steps as well. Each module unlocks after watching the previous one, so you can go as quickly or as slowly as you want. I want you to go in order, but you can go through them as fast or as slow as you want to. And each module is only about 10 minutes, and you can actually do it either as a video or an audio, so that if you want to listen to it in your car, you want to pick your kids up from school, or while you're folding laundry, or while you're on a walk, you can take this with you and listen to these quick 10-minute videos. And then I give you handouts where you are just able to implement what you learn in these quick 10-minute videos. And then you can come to the weekly coaching calls and we just really walk you through every step of the way. Every single module has corresponding handouts, checklists. If you're a checklist person like me, you'll love this. I love crossing things off. Recipes, menu plans, symptom surveys, and more. And in total, there's about 100 pages of resources to guide you through this entire course 1 week at a time. A lot of women like to print it out and make a little binder and go through it, or you can download it onto your computer. You can also have it just handy in your phone. We do have an app option as well. So my favorite part of this program is the weekly live coaching calls that I mentioned. So in addition to those 10-minute modules and all of the handouts and the resources, we also have live weekly coaching calls. And I keep the group size in this program intentionally small so that we can keep the group intimate and make sure everyone has the support they need. There's something really special about the group setting, and these calls feel like magic. And even if you can't make the calls live, you can submit questions ahead of time, and all the calls are recorded, so you can go back and watch them at your convenience. Again, go on a walk, listen to the recording. Some of these calls are led by me. Some of these calls are led by our health coach, Christy. Similar to me, Christy has a history of chronic illness and has walked the walk and talked the talk with every single one of these health principles. Also similar to me, Christy is a graduate of the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. And together we lead this group. You are also added to a private group on an app called Circle. It's available in web form or in an app. And it is only for members of the KB code. So there's not like all these random people in there. It's just for you guys, where you can ask questions of me or each other, get support, get accountability, anything you need, anything you don't understand while you're going through the program. We are there for you immediately so that you never have to miss a beat. You can just keep on going. Even if you have something you're confused about, we're right there to support you. So in total, the KB code includes 14 modules. There's 2 bonus modules on top of the 12 modules, 12 60-minute coaching calls, 100 pages of resources, the private group with your peers. And this is valued at close to $4,000. For reference, my one-on-one coaching costs over $4,000. But I really want to be able to reach more women because it truly is my passion. And I really, really love the support and the camaraderie that comes with this group format that I've done year after year. And I want to make it as affordable as possible. So it's priced at only $750 for the whole program. However, I want to add on a few additional bonuses for action takers. So people that are ready to get in there and get started right now, you guys especially are going to get to take advantage of the special bonuses. So bonus number 1 is 20% off the entire program. Whether you choose to do the group program or the group program plus the testing package, which we'll look at again in a second, you get 20% off of either of them. Now, this is only available from now until the 26th. So you're going to want to take advantage of this to get that 20% off deal. Another reason you're really going to want to jump in there and do this now is the first 10 people that sign up. And we did have one person sign up over the weekend. So now we only have 9 spots left. But the first 10 people that sign up get a free additional one-on-one private consult with me. Now, these are valued at $375 if you're to purchase them individually. And this is absolutely free for the next 9 people that sign up, whether they sign up for the KB code or the KB code, are going to get 20% off, and the first 10 will get that consult. So when we're looking at the 2 programs, we have the group program, which I've gone over 12 lessons, 12 weekly calls, 2 bonus modules, 100 pages of resources, and access to that private club. And then on the other side, we have the group program and the testing package. So this is for people that want to go a little bit deeper on their healing journey, working with us in a one-on-one setting to see what is going on under the hood, right? If you feel like labs are going to be really helpful for you, some of the labs I talked about in these examples today. We have some, blood work options. If you're feeling really tired, maybe looking at an iron panel or a thyroid panel would be helpful. If you've got some GI issues, doing a GI map could be helpful. You have a lot of hormone imbalance, you could do a Dutch test. So there's all these different options of tests that you can do. And if you're feeling like, I love this program, but I want to go a step further and also add some tests on, the group program and the testing package is for you. So the group program is normally $250 a month. The group program and testing is normally $333 a month, but you get 20% off of all of it, no matter which one you choose, as long as you buy before the 26th, because after the 26th, the doors open to the public. And so that discount code disappears. Okay. So you can purchase with these QR codes. I'm going to leave this slide up so that you can grab those codes and do what you need to do while we do my favorite part, which is the Q&A portion of the webinar. And I am probably going to turn my camera back on if it doesn't get glitchy. Hopefully it doesn't. If it does, then we'll turn it back off. And you guys are welcome to either type your questions in the chat or unmute yourself and ask the question if that's easier. Whatever you're most comfortable with and whatever's easiest for you works for me. So what questions do you guys have about the 6 steps or your health or where you're feeling stuck or the KB code or anything? What questions can I answer for you guys? And I'm going to take a sip of water while I wait. There are normally so many questions on these things. I am going to be absolutely shocked if there's no questions. Okay. Julie asks, what testing is included in the testing option? So the testing option price is covering the one-on-one practitioner's time and protocol development and design and lab ordering and things like that. The lab price itself isn't in there because I want that to be customized to you and your needs. I don't want to say, well, everyone has to get a GI map because that might not be helpful for you. You might need blood work, and blood work is $100 and a GI map is $400. So I chose to not include a test in that price to give you more options and flexibility to fit your needs and your budget, which is why you'll see it's not even that much more expensive to do the testing. It doesn't include the lab fees. It's just including the hours that we spend outside of the session designing the protocols, which I'll talk very briefly about what that testing package looks like practically. Okay, and you guys will have to tell me if it gets glitchy again. All right, so on the testing package, first we meet with you and see, well, first you fill out a bunch of forms. And those forms tell us where are the clusters of symptoms like that are most present. What is your health history? What is your medical history? What is your family medical history? What is your medical history timeline? And then all that information is what we use to prepare for the first session with you. So then we get on that first session, and in that call, kind of go deeper and things like, okay, I see you were feeling great until you had food poisoning in 2009, and then everything went downhill. Let's dive deeper into that. And then if that were the conversation, we probably would be wanting to do a GI map stool test to see if there is some residual gut dysbiosis. Now, let's say we get on that call and someone's like, I have just been feeling progressively more tired for years and my hair is thinning and falling out and I just feel really winded all the time. Great. We're going to do some blood work. We're going to do an iron panel, CBC, a CMP, an ANA, a CRP, and a thyroid panel. Let's see what's going on there. So we start off that first appointment. We first are analyzing all of this data. So this is what's included in the price for the testing package, which again is very low priced for how much goes into it. So we're gathering that data. We're kind of formulating an initial plan. And then we have appointment number 1, where we go over going deeper, figuring out what tests we're going to run. And then appointment number 2 is where we go over the lab results. So after appointment number 1, we said, yep, we're going to order you a GI map. When those results come back, we spend a lot of time kind of pouring through those results, coming up with a protocol that is combining both what we see on the lab and what we learned on that first call and what's your health history. And then that goes all together to design a custom protocol of what supplements might you need to take, what lifestyle changes do you need to make? Are you not sitting down to eat? Are you chewing and running around on the go? And that could be contributing to low stomach acid, that could be contributing to some of these overgrowths. So we give you a really comprehensive protocol and plan, and that is delivered and explained to you on that second call. So on the second call, you get to learn all about yourself and where have things gone wrong and how are we going to fix them. Again, at that root cause level, and it always dovetails really nicely with the KB code because all of the principles that we do in there are very foundational. And so this these types of protocols stacked on top of it really supercharge your progress. So that is what is included in the pricing of that testing, is all of that time spent outside of the session, the times in the sessions, developing these protocols and delivering them to you. And then lab fees are additional, and they typically range between $100 and $500, depending on what lab do you need, what's going on, things like that. Okay, so Julie, does that answer your question? And Marianne asked, I have a question regarding anxiety. I developed driving phobia and wonder if hormones or something else may be causing it all of a sudden. How can this help me? Interesting. I mean, I have so many follow-up questions to the when did it start and did something trigger it? And do you have other symptoms that also signify a abrupt hormonal change? Or is there an environmental change? Did you move into a new house? Maybe it's mold. So these are the kinds of questions that we would want to ask on that first call if you were to do a testing package, or we would go into on that free consult if you were one of the first 9 to sign up. I want to know a lot more before I can answer that, but I would say that hormones could contribute to something like that. Yes. I would want to see more of that full picture overview before saying too much more, but I'd want to see when is your most recent blood work that was done, and even if you were told it was normal, I usually find something in there. So people are often told that their labs are normal. They don't even look at them because they're told they're normal, and they're like, okay, whatever. And then I get a hold of them, and sometimes they do appear normal. They're not flagged, but there are all these little clues that I can pick up that are using functional medicine ranges versus regular ranges. Or sometimes there are flags. There's like raging high CRP, and the doctor just like didn't see it because they're super busy and they have to see like 50 patients in a day, and they're just like running in and out of the rooms, and they just missed it. So I would want to see what labs have you had done lately, and see if that provides any clues for me. For example, if there was even slightly high, not even out of range, but even slightly elevated eosinophils, basophils, and monocytes, that can indicate a parasitic infection, which can greatly alter neurotransmitter levels and can contribute to fear, phobias, and anxiety. So those are the kinds of things I would want to look for either on that consult or in the testing package or both, whatever it may be, to see if there's something deeper going on there. And then if you've had your hormones tested recently, looking at that as well, or if they haven't been tested, then that could be an option to test those at that point. Now, going back to the example with TB, remember we fixed her hormones without doing any hormone things. We fixed her hormones by doing those 6 steps, by improving her health, by improving her nutrition, by balancing her blood sugar. So if yours is due to a hormonal imbalance, that could be fixed by doing these 6 steps in this 12-week program where we're guiding you through that kind of those foundations for health, because fixing her blood sugar, fixing her nutrition, fixing her sleep, fixing her digestion is what relayed to fixing her hormones without doing hormone things. Does that make sense, Marianne? Okay, good. Marianne says that makes sense. And Julie says I answered the question. Great. Okay. Okay, we have a question that was direct message, so I won't say who it's from, but alternative to breast implants. I know implants are not safe, and I want to find an alternative. Breastfed 4 kids, punt milk to donate for 6 years, adding that into the 4 pregnancies through 5 years. Skin is loose and saggy, no life to them. 29, want to feel comfortable in your own skin. I don't know a ton about it, but I know some people like fat transfers, so that's an alternative, or a lift, which can just take some of that skin away, so they're less down there and more up here. But I agree with you that implants are not a great alternative. I had them, I got sick from them, I took them out. So I don't ever tell people what to do with their own bodies, but I'm a fan of avoiding implants if at all possible, because it was not good for my health at all. And there's a lot of new research coming out about it, and lymphoblastic leukemia, and a specific type. It's like BAIAALL. There's a lot of letters in it, but it's specific to textured implants. But even the non-textured ones have some other sets of problems to them. It can trigger autoimmune disease, which has been really extensively studied by a researcher. Her last name is Schoenfeld. So yeah, that's a brief answer, but a couple different things there. Recommendations on apps to track health, blood sugar, food, sleep, etc. So food, I like either MyFitnessPal or Chronometer. Those are super easy. We use MyFitnessPal in the KB code. I teach people how to use it, how to track their macros, how to find what your macros should be, how to find what your calories should be. If you're looking to gain weight, if you're looking to lose weight, if you're looking to maintain weight, how to find what those calories and macros should be, how to put that into MyFitnessPal and then use that. I just find MyFitnessPal like really user friendly, and there's a free version. So a lot of people like that. Sleep, I love Aura rings if that's accessible, or Whoop bands. Those are good too. Blood sugar, if you want to get really specific with it, you could do a CGM through something called NutriSense, or you could just make sure that you're tracking your macros, and then if your carb count is where it should be and your protein count is where it should be, then your blood sugar should be balanced as well. Is dizziness in the morning when standing up actually from standing up too fast, or is it cortisol blood sugar dysregulation? You're welcome, Kimberly, for the blood sugar answer. Okay, Zoom user. Now, you only get dizzy upon standing in the morning and not the rest of the day. Is that what you're saying? Also, there's no such thing as standing up too fast dizziness. I mean, I know that occurs, but that is a sign something's wrong, right? So kind of going back to what I talked about in the very beginning, which is we are often taught and told that our symptoms are, it's just this and it's just that, and it's just how you are, and it's just fine. But no, it's actually a sign. Your body is trying to alert you to something here. Dizziness upon standing is not normal. It means there's something wrong. So just equating it to like, well, you stood up too fast. You should be able to stand up fast. My husband was in the NBA for 13 years. Do you think he could have done that if every time he stood up fast, he got dizzy? No, he'd be knocked down. He'd jump right back up, not dizzy at all because he was healthy. So I think that's a sign there's something deeper going on. I also think it's very interesting. It is not the rest of the day and it is only in the morning. So I am going to kind of assume that maybe you've got some blood sugar dysregulation going on. Your blood sugar might be really low when you wake up in the morning. And then when you stand up, that's why you are feeling it. I mean, this doesn't necessarily pertain to you because it's not the rest of the day, but if it was the whole day, there's something called POTS, or postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. And that is when you go from sitting to standing, and there is a large differential in your blood pressure. And when there's that blood pressure differential, your heart can't push the blood up to your head. And so when you stand up quickly, it hasn't quite caught up because that blood pressure isn't as high as it should be. And so the blood doesn't get to your brain, so you don't get oxygen in your brain, then you see stars and you get dizzy. So POTS is more going to be for somebody that like they're experiencing that much more frequently than like just in the morning, which is why I said it probably doesn't necessarily pertain to you. However, it could. An electrolyte balance can be a big part of that. POTS patients' treatment is increase electrolytes. So those are some things that I would want to dive into with you if you wanted to join the program and do a consult and things like that. I would want to know, what are you eating during the day? What are you eating before bed? That might be contributing to a really low blood sugar in the morning. What other symptoms do you have in the morning? Do you get tired and shaky in between meals? If so, that definitely lends itself to blood sugar. What can we do about it at night? Maybe adding in some resistant starch at night before bed. These are the kinds of things we would like talk about and troubleshoot on our coaching calls or on our private calls, things like that. But that's kind of where I would start. That sounds kind of blood sugary to me. And I'd be able to figure that out a little bit more by going a little bit deeper into some of these areas. And it is not normal. And you should not just like let somebody say, you just stood up too fast. You shouldn't have to stand up slow your whole life. You should be able to just stand up, right? So that's a sign something's going on that you should be able to dive into a little bit deeper. And you can probably tell I get like really excited when I start talking about like finding the root cause of things. Like I like to go deeper and like figure them out. I think it's really fun. You're welcome. Any other questions that you guys have? And I'm going to just kind of quickly recap while I'm giving you a moment to type any other questions. Kimberly says, I love your excitement. It's one of the things I love about you. Thanks. I think it makes a difference when you do something you love and you get really excited about. And I get really excited about root cause and diving in on a personal level. And that's why I like this program. I do only run it once a year. So it's not around very frequently because it is very time intensive for me when I do it. I want to make sure I'm answering all the questions in the group and I'm really present on those calls, myself and Christy. And it's very time intensive, so I don't do it very often, but I love doing it because I get to where it's like this, but I tell you guys to turn your cameras on. You don't have to, but I ask you to. Tell you to have your mute turned off, and we're talking and we're going deeper, and we can have these conversations and go in these tangents to get down to it and to figure out what is going wrong and what are you going to try. And it's really fun because then you can come back the next week and be like, oh my gosh, Kristen, I tried resistant starch at night, like you said, and I am not dizzy when I stand up in the morning anymore. This is incredible. And I feel so much better. And now that I feel better in the morning, like I didn't realize I was also tired. I just kind of like thought it was normal because it was morning, but now I have more energy. And then now I'm able to work out more, and now I'm reaching my fitness goals. And then that's fueling my workout, my food. And now I'm eating even better. And it's like, it's this snowball effect. And that's one other thing that, I think is really important in this program and with anything is it's okay to take small manageable steps. You don't have to like try to climb Mount Everest from day one. You're going to feel burnt out and overwhelmed doing that. So that's why I like breaking it down, and every step that you do, you feel better, and then you can build upon it even higher. So Julie says, generally feel good, look pretty clean, but would like to feel stronger and be sure there aren't unknown problems. Would this be a good fit? I think that it would be. It's because through the process, you end up uncovering things you didn't know were there. So you can feel like pretty good, pretty fit, but might have like these little lingering symptoms that like you don't even realize are symptoms because for you, there's like normal life. And then we start going through and kind of calling things out and going deeper, and you start realizing, oh, well, this is still there. And this is actually worse than I thought it was. And then we can go deeper and see what's going on there. If you're not sure and you want to talk about it, Nikki, if you are listening, can you drop in the chat the free discovery call? And Julie, stick around for a minute, because if Nikki does not pop that in, I can like pull it up. But I don't want to just be awkward and not talk for a second. Oh, she's doing it. Great. So if you or anybody else wants to get on a call and talk about like, is this right for me? I'm not sure. Sounds good, but maybe something else, right? Might be right. We can get on a free discovery call and just chat for like 20 minutes and go a little bit deeper into like, okay, well, like, tell me what you mean by, you know, feel stronger, and tell me more about this, tell me more about that. And then we can see if it's right for you. Okay. So Nikki has popped that into the chat. So if anybody wants to grab that link, you can book a free call with me and we can talk more about would the KB code be right for you. And I encourage you to book it as soon as possible because that 20% off goes away on the 26th. So if you want to grab whatever spots I have left between now and the 26th, that would be good. Is anybody here considering joining the KB code as of now? And you know, maybe you have more questions, or maybe you're just going to jump in. I'm curious if anyone is feeling like this resonates for you. And if not, that's okay. There's plenty of things out there to help all of our health. And I'm going to stay on for like 1 or 2. Yeah, someone's thinking about it. Awesome. And I love that you're praying about it because that is the best way. I think somebody filled out a discovery call already. So any last questions that I can answer for you guys before I let you go? And again, I hope you walk away from this feeling like, okay, that's why I am still tired all the time. It's because I only worked on my diet, but not toxin, sleep, and stress, or that's why my hormones are going bananas. Yes, I'm in my 40s, and of course they're going to be weird, but they're like bananas because I haven't worked on my gut health, and I might be eating foods that are inflaming me. So I hope you walk away feeling more empowered to take back your health and less helpless, feeling like, oh, I've tried all this stuff and nothing works. It's not that nothing works. It's just that you have to kind of get in there and go step by step, really systematically through all of the things. The dates of the program. So it's 12 weeks long and it starts on September 9th. I didn't want to start it Labor Day Monday, like everyone's, you know, go be on vacation and live your best life. And then it starts the following Monday, September 9th. And I designed it so that it's done before like the holiday craziness gets too crazy. I want you to go into your holiday season feeling like rejuvenated and having like more energy than you've ever felt in your whole life, and feeling like I know how to eat and what to eat. And my family's doing good and I'm feeling good and everything's amazing, versus like dragging your body into the holiday season. Like, I'm so tired and now I have to navigate this on top of everything else. So we're going to put in the work now, and our future Christmas selves will thank us. When we are energized and excited and not feeling drained by all of the commitments that tend to pop up in life around the holidays, which we love them, but it also just makes life a little bit harder. I want you to go into that feeling really, really good, really, really energized. Any recommendations for allergy testing? Yeah, I'm so glad you asked that. So in the program, we go into guided removals and reintroductions. And that is a really great way to figure out what you're allergic to for free. Because there's two types of allergy tests out there for food. There's cheap ones and they are complete garbage and do nothing, or there's really expensive ones and they're amazing, but they're incredibly expensive. The one that I like that we use in my practice is $500. And I don't fault them for it. They look at all these different types of allergies. So they're not only looking at all the different foods, but they're looking at IgE, which is a true allergy, IgG, which is a sensitivity, IgG4, which is a blocking of the IgG, and complement protein number 3, which amplifies the IgG4. So they're looking at all of that. And that's why that one is good. Because if you're just doing really well over the counter and you're just looking at your IgG, you are going to miss so much. And then you're also not going to know, where do I rank this in severity? Do I really need to take this food out, and for how long? But when you have all of those columns and you're seeing what is amplified and what's being blocked and what is in double columns and what's in red versus yellow, things like that, you can really get a good sense of what should you remove and what should you not remove. But again, it is very expensive. It's $500. So in the program, we walk you through a very clean diet that is removing the top allergens that I've found in my practice. So not just like the top 7 of like gluten and shellfish, not just those, but the top ones that I found in my practice are problematic for people. We remove those, and then we teach you how to monitor your symptoms. And we teach you exactly how to put them back in, because what you don't want to do is just take a bunch of food out and then put a bunch of food back in and you feel like crap again. You're like, why, which food was it? I don't know. And it takes up to 5 days to have a reaction from food when it is a delayed mediated food sensitivity. 5 days. Think about how many different things you eat over the course of 5 days. It becomes impossible to figure out like what is your body reacting to and what's not, unless you do it with our system. You do a very systematic guided reintroduction where you're monitoring your symptoms and you're going one new food every 5 days and you're watching your body's reaction. We teach you how to do that in the program. And so you could totally do the food allergy testing if you want. It's called the Infinite Allergy Labs panel. It is not direct to consumer, so you would need someone like us to order it. It's a great panel, but it's $500. Or for free, you can go through guided removals and reintroductions and start to get to know your body and get to know how do you feel with these different foods. So that was a great question. There's so much to the program. It's hard to even get all of it out there. So thank you for asking that question, because I forgot that to kind of touch on that, but we do that because I really strongly believe in bioindividuality. I believe that everyone's bodies are different and there is no one size fits all diet. So like I said in today's webinar, there's a template to this. There's what I have learned people feel their best with, but the end goal should be the widest diet possible. You don't want to feel restricted. So we start with what I've found to be the most healing diet. And then we layer back food. So you can see, yeah, I'm fine with this, not eat gluten. I feel terrible with gluten, but I used to not be able to eat dairy or grains. I couldn't have oats. I couldn't have rice. I couldn't have any kind of dairy. And now I'm completely fine with all of those. Gluten is the only thing that's my arch nemesis. And that's because I have non-celiac gluten sensitivity. But not everybody is going to need to like remove everything forever. Some people, they can have gluten and dairy makes it feel terrible. And these are things that you can learn about your body, and then you can make a choice. You can do whatever you want with that choice, but it's an informed choice where you're like, do I want to eat this and have a headache tomorrow, or do I not? And you get to choose, which is so much more powerful than every day wandering around being like, well, I don't have a headache right now. Why does my stomach hurt? Why am I tired? And you have no idea. Once you go through a process like this and you learn like what makes you feel your best through sleep, hormone balancing, gut health. Sorry, my throat is like so dry and I'm out of water. Just one sip left. Foods, things like that, you're able to make a choice and go, yeah, I know this is how I feel my best. And I have a big presentation at work tomorrow. So I'm going to do all these things for that. And then I'm on vacation. I don't care. So I'm going to do that. Okay. Any last questions that you guys have? And as a reminder, in the chat, there is a link for a free discovery call with me if you want to get on a call. Also, as a reminder, the first 9 people that sign up for the program are going to get a free private one-on-one consult with me, valued at $375. We have our testing option where you can pick what labs you need and go deeper into things from a lab work perspective, or we have the regular program where you are still going very deep into everything with our guidance throughout the whole program. And 20% off is available until the 26th. That's a week, right? Yeah, in a week. So take advantage of that. Email me or DM me if you have any questions, or my team. And I really hope that I get to meet you in person inside of the program on our very first call on September 9th. Like I said, I really look forward to it, and it's a lot of fun, and we make it really manageable. We go step by step, bite-sized modules. 10 minutes is like so doable. If we sign up for the group program but end up needing testing, can you switch? Yeah, I don't see why not. I feel like we could do that, right, Nikki? Logistically. Yes, Nikki says yes. Nikki makes things happen with like the logistical things and the buttons and the links. Yes, we can do that. But the testing package is a really great option for anyone that's able to do it. It just goes so beautifully like with that group program, where you get a little bit deeper, a little bit more one-on-one in addition to those foundations and that guidance and all the handouts and the checklist. Like it just goes really well together. It's definitely our most popular option every time. I think I've run 5 of these KB code programs through the years, and the testing package is the most popular choice throughout, if that gives you any indication. Oh, I'm so glad you asked this, Julie. You can absolutely pay with your HSA, FSA. The Stripe merchant code is set up for that. Now, reimbursement wise, that is up to the HSA and the FSA, not me, like whether they're going to cover it or not. Everyone seems to be different. With like, I personally have an FSA card that is a nightmare upon nightmares. They don't want to pay for anything. But then I have other clients that have ones that are they swipe it for anything with the code that works and they're good to go. So yes, our merchant code is set up for the testing package, for the KB code, for anything that I offer. The merchant code is set up to accept HSA and FSA. Great question. Okay, I think we're running out of questions. Thank you guys for being here today, for hanging out with me, for asking great questions, for being engaged. I really, really, really appreciate it. It is my worst nightmare to like show up to a webinar and talk to myself. So thank you for being here. Thank you for participating. I wish you all the best of health, whatever that looks like for you and whatever that journey is. And if I can be of assistance in that, I would be honored. And please let me know if you have any other questions. And thank you again for being here. Oh, and Julie asked, do I know what times the coaching calls will be? Yes. Mondays at 1 o'clock Eastern time. 1 o'clock Eastern. And they're all recorded, and you can ask questions before the call. So if you can't make it on the call, but you want to get that question answered, you can type that into the group area, and we'll make sure that we answer it live on the call, and we'll tag you beneath and say, hey, your answer is at the 4-minute mark, and then you can go in and you can watch it. Thanks for being here, Kaylee. All right. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.